Alright guys, on December 6th, 2015, I drove down with a buddy of mine, Tim Anderson, to a comic book convention in Charlotte, North Carolina. It was called Charlotte Comic Con, and I ended up getting about 102 books for roughly $25. I have never seen a convention where it felt like they were trying to give books away. Now, I shot this video before, and the file is all messed up, for it won't even load on YouTube. And I had them all organized in the deals that I bought these books in. And basically, there was all kinds of odd little deals, like you could take a bag like this, fill it up with comic books, and just pay $10. The person I was going to buy off only had 8 books I wanted, so I figured why not fill this thing up. And then a lot of these people had 50-cent boxes, tons of 50-cent boxes, and I was getting deals like, I'd get 7 or 8 books, and say that came to $3.50, they'd round it down to $3, stuff like that. And then there's another person who had a deal where all his books started out at 50 cents, but the more you bought, the cheaper they got, to where by the time you get to 30 books, they're all a quarter. So that's how I ended up getting all these books. And since I know that a lot of people may not make it to the end of the video, I'm going to start with the big one here. This was a book. This is New Teen Titans #1 from 1980, Marv Wolfman, George Perez. One of those books I honestly never thought I would buy because I'm so cheap. But he had a lot of books for 50 cents, and then behind him, this particular dealer had a bunch of books, on a rack, his collectible books. And I ended up getting this for roughly $7. And it's actually in beautiful shape. I could not believe it. I'm gonna get a new bag for it, so I was real happy to get this. This was the big buy, But what he also had in his boxes, I got these for 50 cents a piece. Batman Black and White. I think this is the second volume. They had another Batman Black and White, I believe, back in the 90s. These are a bunch of short stories by, just a whole cast of comic book creators doing short stories. But this one in particular I wanted because it is that's a Jim Steranko cover. Batman with a crown of thorns there, very much in a sort of a Jesus Christ pose. If you kind of look at this, bearing a whole lot of biblical sense there. Ants, puzzles, just very, very artistic. This was also 50 cents. This is Batman Legends of the Dark Knight Halloween Special, Jeff Loeb, Tim Sale. This was a series of one-shots that came out every Halloween for a couple years, and then it led to the Long Halloween. Just fantastic. I have another one of these that I have signed by Tim Sale, the artist, but 50 cents, I cannot pass that up. Okay, and then moving on. And then also got this. This is Batman Dark Victory, the sequel to A Long Halloween, Wizard #0. This is my second or third one of this, but this was a Wizard magazine exclusive to get the 0 issue to go with the miniseries that was about to come out. It was promotional. Teen Titans #100 with a nice glossy cover there. I had the privilege of meeting George Perez and Marv Wolfman a few years ago at Heroes Con in Charlotte, North Carolina. And as I was waiting in line to meet George Perez and have him sign my Crisis books, Marv Wolfman signed my Crisis on Infinite Earth books, and we ended up talking. I asked him about Total Eclipse, which was sort of a Crisis on the Infinite Earth for Eclipse Comics in the 80s, and he said he had written that story for a friend, and said all those Eclipse characters were never meant to interact. He said, it was sort of a mess, but he did the best he could. And then eventually we got to talking about the Titans. It was a long line. And Marv Wolfman more or less said he admitted he had stayed on the Teen Titans for too long. So this was the New Teen Titans was the 1980 newsstand comic that came out. After about about 4 years, they came out with the Baxter series that restarted at a #1, and this is the issue 100 from that Baxter series. They dropped the Teen Titans by then. This became the New Titans. All right. Another book that I'm really happy to find. This is part of this is book 2 of 3, Captain Carrot and His Amazing Zoo Crew in the Oz Wonderland War trilogy. I have a complete set of Captain Carrot and His Amazing Zoo Crew, and it goes back to where I was 7 or 8 years old reading the comic. And then a few years after the book was canceled, I want to say it was around maybe 86, they came out with this. So, we finally got to start on that. A few issues of Hitman here. Sadly enough, I think these are now officially all doubles. If you like a little bit of Garth Ennis that's just slightly toned down to where it could be in the DC line of comics, this place takes place in Gotham City. Hitman got the powers of telepathy and X-ray vision, but he is a hired killer. But he has morals. You know, he has morals. You know, he's not going to go after a good guy, if you will. So, you know, 29, just, you know, 53. And then I found some more Garth Ennis. This was probably the last issue, I believe, released under the DC Wildstorm brand. And in issue 5, more or less, due to a hamster and what was done with the hamster, it was just a little bit too much for DC to keep publishing the boys. So without any kind of fuss or anything like that, they handed Garth Ennis the rights back to the boys, which is a creator-owned book, and he ended up taking it to Dynamite. So here's issue 6. Very glad to have that. Working on, you know, full set of that. Here's number 24, or excuse me, 26. This ends up being a double. That's all right. Okay, and then at the suggestion of one of my friends, I'm really down on the DC 52 and the new DC that's going on. But he said to check out Dial H. I ended up picking up a few issues and want to give it a shot, so I found number 1 for 50 cents. Could not believe that. Number 2, I think this book maybe ran 18 issues. I haven't really checked it out. It didn't really go far. But just interesting enough to, you know, want to check it out. So here's number 2. Great Brian Boland covers. And number 12, of course. Really interesting to see where that's going. Again, just happens to be a Garth Ennis issue. I am chipping away at the entire 300 issue run of Hellblazer. I know I'm over a third of the way there, but here's issue number 64 by Garth Ennis. Just fantastic, just a fantastic cover. I think that's a Glenn Farby cover. This is from 1992. Garth Ennis, Steve Dillon, and with Glenn Farby on the covers. You know, we have our seeds being planted for you know, these guys to take off on the Preacher book. Hellblazer does not tie into the Preacher though. You know, Hellblazer, John Constantine. This is issue 262. Never read that story. Issue 171 with a fantastic Tim Bradstreet cover. And another great Tim Bradstreet cover, issue 191. And then I ended up getting a little odd issue here of Why the Last Man. I think this is number 20, number 19. I just kind of dig that that Wizard of Oz cover going on there. Awful glare on these books. All right, then I'm chipping away at the Swamp Thing. Really enjoy Swamp Thing, but this is issue 65 after probably the issue after Alan Moore left, or he's getting ready to leave. But anyway, Rick Vetch had taken over. He was also the artist. And then here's a fantastic, just a fantastic cover on the Spectre number 40 from the 90s. This is a book that probably should have been a Vertigo book. John Ostrander, Tom Mandrick. Again, my buddy Tim Anderson has a full run of this, and he just praises this book. And the issues I've read are just fantastic. Really kind of missed out. Chipping away at my Invisibles. Here's volume 1, number 13. I love the indigo colors. The colors of this, the dark blues, the indigo, the slight purples there. And it's called She-Man, Part 1 of Venus, with some Jill Thompson artwork. And I'm not going to lie, Jill Thompson, her story arc she did on Sandman back in the 90s, Brief Lives, made me a fan. So great to see her on there. And this is a special from 1998, the Dreaming special, again with the Neil Gaiman influenced Sandman books and stuff. Lynn Wine has done this with some art by Scott Hampton in there. Real interested in seeing these. I always get these one-shots when I run across them, because I was, you know, freshly married and had a kid and all this stuff. So there's a little error there where I wasn't at the comic book shop back then as much as I could have been. And Neil Gaiman supposedly approved all of these one-shots and miniseries that started coming out after the Sandman had ended. Chipping away at my Green Lantern. I think I just need 2 issues of the Jeff Johns run. Here's issue 16. Great Ethan Van Sciver cover there. Number 17. Abin Sur's son coming after Hal Jordan. Number 18. Laying down the seeds for the Sinestro Corps War. Number 20. And then here's a few things I picked up. This is a Comics Interview number 2 from 1983, and it's got a fantastic interview with Frank Miller talking about Ronin, and he touches on Daredevil and a few things he was doing in the early 80s. And then we have an interview with Gene Simmons of Kiss talking about comics, and Mark Evanier laying down some knowledge on what Kirby's intentions were with the New Gods Fourth World Saga from the 70s, and how Carmine Infantino was treating him, and just some fantastic stuff I had never known about Kirby. I'm always digging for that stuff, so this was really cool to find. Found this. It's a bagged Wizard special. I have all of them, so I figured I'd get this one. A Superman special with a card in it. What I find interesting is they bagged it backwards. So we'll get into that. And then this was amazing. This one person had these comic book trades. He was selling his trades at 90% off. So this is a $20 book that I got for $2. And what this is that this is the Comics Companion from Dark Horse. This is Dark Horse taking all their Star Wars stories from whenever they started, 92, 93, whenever it was, up to 2006 when this came up, and they have put all those stories in chronological order. So that ends with like a little synopsis of all those stories. You have the rise of the Empire era. This is the timeline. The Rebellion era, the New Republic era. And they take all those miniseries and ongoing series that they had for all those years, and they have to where you can follow it. You can actually get your collection of these Dark Horse Star Wars books if you have them, and there you go. All right. Okay, guys, that's about a little halfway through. I'm gonna go a little bit quicker now. Okay, what I also picked up is before the DC 52 kicked off, Len Wein came out with wrote this 10-issue miniseries of Legacies, and this pretty much gives you a retelling of the DC Comics history from World War II up. And they got all sorts of people on each of these issues to come in there and do the art. It's just, from the 40s all the way up until about 2009, you get a history, right? So this was number 1 with a Joe Kubert cover, J.G. Jones, Scott Collins, all kinds of people on it. I have a few issues upstairs. Here's number 9, taking us up to the 90s, more or less. The Darkest Night that was going on, and what was, the Darkest Night, excuse me, the Final Night, and Hal Jordan becoming evil and redeeming himself by saving us from the Final Night. And then number 10, right before DC 52 started. But what I like about this is how I didn't notice this until, this is one good thing about reshooting this video. You take these covers and look at that. They've just taken the same cover, the same characters more or less. Your Magic character is Dr. Fate with Antenna, Green Lantern, Black Canary, Golden Age, Black Canary, Modern Age, Spectre, Flash. That is freaking cool. That's a good way to, I love how they bookended that series. Just me filling in some gaps here with my Legion of Superheroes. I'm telling you, from issue around 280 to about 310 of the Legion of Superheroes from the early 80s, I put it right up there with the Teen Titans and the X-Men. Just a great era. This is one of those things where I was probably filling up that bag to get my $10 worth, and I just kind of liked the idea of seeing where Supergirl was and where, at the time, this is the 80s, but here she is in her 80s outfit, here she is in her 70s outfit, and I kind of like it when characters kind of see where they, how they progressed and, things like that. Mystery in Space, I'll pick these up all day long, nothing special. Issue 115, just some great DC sci-fi. Got me some Joe Kubert Tarzan that I'm always chipping away at to get these. Love Joe Kubert doing these DC Tarzan. Just great stuff. This one cracks me up. It's got a shark on the cover coming up to eat Tarzan, yet the title of the story is Temple of the Virgins. So, and I actually know people who do nothing but collect shark covers. It's a thing. They just love getting all these, they just collect shark covers, and that's it. And there's more than you think. It's one of those things where you just never thought of, you never thought about it, and then you see somebody doing it. This is a double, but this character, Jack Hawksmoor, is so freaking cool and one of the most original characters I think that's come out. During one of my other videos where I think I did the Comic Quarter 410, somebody commented talking about Hawksmoor and maybe where his influence came from. Just a great character. And now I'm picking up some Authority. You know, I double dipped here a little bit. Authority #1, just a great series. #2, #3. I could not believe what I was paying for this. Got 2 issues of #3. It's where I double dipped. #4. Cannot believe I'm getting these. These were such hot books back in the day. #8. #12. I think that is Warren Ellis's last issue with Brian Hitch. And then this is where Mark Miller and Frank Quietly came on. #13. Comic Quarter sent me a #14, so I didn't pick it up, but I have #15. #16. And got these for such a good price. #18. #19, #28, I think 28 or 29 was the last issue of this volume. And then again, Comic Quarter 410 a few months ago showed off some Robotech comics from Comico. I found some not long after that, and then I ran across the earlier issues. Apparently the Macross Saga is the one to get if you're into Robotech. So I got #3, #4, #5, #6, #7, and #8. Now I got a pretty good run. I can finally go in there and read all that. Last stack, guys. Last stack. Alright, guys. And this is stuff that's just, there's little things I'm trying to collect all of. Just, you know, I'm not killing myself. I'm just always keeping an eye out. I think it'd be cool to get all these. Oh, let me get up here. Don't fall, Superman. We need you. There we go. Alright, so, and Superman's going. Real professional channel here, guys. What do you think? Alright, this is a Wizard half issue. This is probably one of the first ones they did. This is from Event Comics. It was a promotional comic book. They started the half issues in Wizard Comics. Started bagging the books so you can get them. I got that one. I got Evangeline #1/2. Might as well just try to get the set. I cracked up. I had to get this. David Cassidy, Charlton Comics. David Cassidy, those heartthrobs. I have this already, but I could not pass up a #1, Morlock 2000 from Atlas Comics. Strange book. Nightbreed. I'm always kind of picking these up from Epic Comics. #2. Just a great find, an early issue. This was fantastic. This is a Clive Barker Hellraiser Summer Special one-shot. Just always, I'm really digging these Hellraiser books and from the Epic line and their prestige format. You know, just really great. This was a 3-issue miniseries. I'm always looking for it. Oh, my legs are falling asleep. And this is called Orbit. It's from Eclipse, or I think it's from Eclipse Comics, early 90s, late 80s. There were only 3 issues. They are a prestige format, 3 stories in each, 3 complete stories in each issue. And what they did is they took some of the best Isaac Asimov stories and adapted them. There's only 3 of them. I have 2 of them now. Always looking for that 3rd one. This is #1. Fantastic stories. Captain Stern, this is from Kitchen Sink Press, part of the miniseries that Barry Windsor Smith did, returning to Captain Stern. He was in the Heavy Metal movie, if you will. That's where I was introduced to him. But Bernie Wrightson, this is Bernie Wrightson. You know, you have to grab it, #4 or 5. I'm bound to almost have that complete. This was interesting. This is from Epic Comics, early 90s, and it's Mike Allred of Madman fame and F4 or whatever he's doing now, Silver Surfer, and he did rebooted X-Force back in the 2000s and stuff like that. You should know who Mike Allred is, but here's some of his early work on this epic one-shot called Everyman. So I'm interested in seeing that. I'm going to pick up all of this book. Here's book 1. This is Grendel versus the Shadow. From Dark Horse and Dynamite by Matt Wagner. Definitely going to make sure I get the rest of these. And then I'm a Dan Baerton fan. I hope that's his name. I follow him on Facebook because he's always putting up his artwork and stuff. I never knew this came out. This is from James Hundale and Dan Baerton. 3-issue prestige format. The Psycho, no idea what it's about, but I've got 2 of the issues. I love how Brereton draws like those. It's like the pulp covers on novels from the '60s, and I don't know, man. It's just just fantastic stuff. His stuff has a mood. Chipping away at getting issues. I'm shooting for 25 to 150 of the good stuff to read by Cerebus. 26 to 50, and chipping away at that. I may try to get all 300 issues, but I know those first 25 I'm probably never going to touch. But anyway, here's issue 65 of Cerebus. Here's number 40. Love that cover. Just fantastic. Okay. Strangers in Paradise. Here's number 2 from the Homage Comics. I want to say that's probably like volume 3 or something. Great Terry Moore stuff. Number 26 with Abstract Studios. So they're not really that hard to keep track of in volumes and stuff. Rising Stars, number 8. I'm real close to having all of those, so I figure why not. Really excited to have found this. This is Ralph Bakski's Cool World movie adaptation from DC Comics. Love it, love it, love it. Real happy to find that. And again, something I've been trying to collect are all the Marvel 25th edition, 25th anniversary editions of the comics that came out in the month of November of '86. You can tell because they have the border. This may be it. I'm not going to say anything, but I think I may have a complete set now. Who knows? But the Iron Man, number 212. Secret Wars 2 crossover. Some of these are actually worth more than others and are hard to find, but this is Peter Parker Spectacular Spider-Man 111 of the mystical Puma who is going after the Beyonder, and Spider-Man's coming in like, no, don't do it. So, glad to find that. Exiles, I'm collecting the 100 issues. What is up with the camera? 100 issue series of Volume 1. All 100 issues of Volume 1. I think I'm only needing like maybe 5 issues now. Interesting series. Supreme Power. I am a huge Squadron Supreme fan. I'm also a Crime Syndicate fan. I always kind of like, I don't know why, just the comics I read as a kid. I know what it is, But this is a special edition of issue 1 when Jay Straczynski came out and put them in the Max line. I already have a number 1, but I didn't know they did this special edition. It reprints their first appearance from, what is that, Avengers 85. There's another first appearance, but they were the Squadron Sinister. Long story. And this also has sketches by Gary Frank inside of it. Character designs and stuff he was working on, that kind of thing. Now we're into some Bronze Age. I'm always looking to get all of my Invaders, and in the early days of my channel, a few of the original guys, they sent me a few issues and stuff. But here's number 12 with a great Jack Kirby cover. Oh my gosh. I read my stepdad's Invaders when I was a kid, and I'm always trying to get them back. Again, my stepdad had this one. This is probably the first Howard the Duck I ever read when I was a kid. And of course, being Steve Gerber, I was like, that was weird in a good way. And great Frank Bruner art. I'm a huge Frank Bruner fan. He's of that stable like Bernie Wrightston and stuff, where they were influenced by EC Comics, heavy on the blacks. Just great cross hatching when they do it. It's number 2. Number 3, little Shang-Chi, little quack foo there from Howard the Duck. Number 10. Now, some of these books, that somebody's X'd them out, but that was alright. Number 10 of Howard the Duck. Number 8 of the Champions. I want to speed up here because this video is getting long. Number 11 with Black Goliath. Number 12 with The Stranger, who is actually a very strange character. I love when he pops up. I can't, number 13 of the Champions, some Bronze Age goodness. Swarm, who the first time I saw Swarm was on Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends when I was a kid. More Swarm with the Champions, number 15. 223 of Captain America. Got some Killraven with some early P. Craig Russell. This is Amazing Adventures number 29. Man-Thing and Giant Man, Marvel 2-in-1 number 55. Really happy to have this. I may already have a copy, but that's okay because I really love this story. It's probably from reading it when I was a kid. But you know, Marvel 2-in-1 Thing in the Adventures. This is number 75 in the War Zone with those great John Byrne heads. You know, number 26, Marvel 2-in-1 Thing and Nick Fury. Rough shape, but I wanted it. And then we have Thing and the Captain America, and we've changed our character's identity again. You know, the giant. He might be Giant Man or Goliath, Black Goliath. I don't know. And this finally, some of these are doubles, but I grabbed every one of them because I've been dying to complete this series. This is the original Marvel official handbook to the Marvel Universe. Number 1, number 2. These are great readings. Number 5. I recommend that everybody get a set of these or the deluxe editions or anything like that. Number 7. And then I got me another. Number 8. Sorry guys. And then I got me another mint copy of Who's Who number 1 because I have read these so much that they're just ripped up. But this one is white, flat, glossy. Looks like it's right off the stand, so I was glad to get that. Alright guys, I'm going to be shooting a few more videos. I've got some books from a comic book shop that I traded for, and then I hit a pawn shop on the way home today and found some other books, so there may be 1 or 2 videos coming up. Thanks for hanging in there. You know, you made it through 102 books, so that makes you a champion. Yay!